Hey guys, it's Core Ross and welcome to 6 News. Today we're going to be breaking down something that was shown in the Year 7 reveal that's coming later this year, and that is a rework to Thatcher, but also a secondary EMP gadget for attackers. So the Thatcher rework is to do two different things. First of all, it's to increase the skill level needed to use the gadget. Of course, right now you just lob it out and that's it. Now you're going to have to actually think about it a little bit, and also to hopefully bring down his ban pick rate overall, because of course he is one of the most banned operators. So the rework they showed is one of many possibilities, and it's the ability to cook the EMP. Now, seeing as they've shown us this one, it's probably the one they're most confident about potentially bringing to us in the future, but we'll see it on the test server at some point. We'll get to test it for a long period of time, and we'll probably see a few iterations of it before it ever makes it to live servers. So the cooking ability doesn't make this EMP go off faster. Cooking it actually increases the EMP's radius. So for instance, if I just throw it out, and you can see they're actually using legitimately Ying here and just slightly modified her gadget, and it shows that when you just throw it with no thinking, it'll give you a small EMP detonation. Now charging that up to the second level will give you a bigger EMP that looks very significant, and then they charge it up to the maximum, but they don't actually show how big the EMP is. Now, considering the EMP appeared to double in size, it could well double again with that third one. Now, right away, that doesn't make me think this actually is getting harder to use. It's just taking longer. Like, I'm going to be risking myself a little bit by charging up the EMP, but if I'm outside, then it doesn't have much effect. But then I thought, well, actually it does have a big effect, because right now with Kaid, you can throw out one EMP and that will disable the electric law. Now, if you immediately, kind of just like half a second later, throw out another EMP, it'll disable the electric law that Kaid throws out to try and replace it. With this rework, you wouldn't be able to do that, or at least not as easily, if at all, based on the cooking time that we see. And that would mean that a Thatcher thermite combo that is extraordinarily powerful right now would actually not be able to get through a wall that is being protected by Kaid and both of his electric laws, because he can obviously put the second one up and get it online before this EMP can disable it again. But like I say, we'll probably see iterations of this on the test server long before we see it on the actual live servers. So I know there's going to be a lot of people potentially panicking and stuff like that as usual when we get these kind of changes, but we'll see how it evolves over time. But that moves us on to the second gadget that we got to see, which was the secondary EMP for other attackers. And of course, this got the same reaction that the bulletproof camera did, which was apparently going to just make Valkyrie obsolete when it first appeared. Then we got the secondary hard breach, which people said would make hard breachers obsolete. Of course, in both those cases, it did not happen. Now, third time a charm, maybe this will completely nullify Thatcher. And certainly this EMP, from what we got to see, was really good. So let's go over it. So again, just like how Ying was being used to test the new Thatcher changes, this is obviously just a modified impact grenade with the Thatcher EMP model, and of course an EMP effect when it hits rather than an explosion. This is so they can quickly prototype and test stuff, and this is what the developers are doing all the time. Prototyping all kinds of new stuff and wacky things as well. And this is the thing about this as well. Obviously, this stuff may never actually make it into the game. They may decide this is not how it's going to go, or they go in a completely different direction. But anyway, let's get back on track. So this EMP is super simple. They said that they want to make Thatcher kind of harder to play, more complicated, not be quite as simple. Whereas this is even simpler than Thatcher because it's an impact-based EMP. So you just throw it where you want it to go, and it works through walls and stuff just like a normal EMP. And I would say the biggest loser here is actually going to be Bandit. Like, of course, with an impact-based EMP, you could locate the electric claw and EMP it directly. But if Kaid puts a new one down on a different location, because your EMP here has quite a limited range on this secondary, it'd be very hard to EMP the second one. But with a Bandit, of course, you know the battery is going to be at the bottom, so you can easily hit them. And if we get two, like in the example given, that's pretty damn good. And yeah, this EMP looks super powerful and very, very easy to use. So yeah, I'm kind of interested in where this will go for sure. And I expect, just like the secondary hard breach, that this EMP will not be as good as a main gadget, because the secondary hard breach is slower and of course makes a smaller hole. This has a smaller radius and I assume probably doesn't last as long as well. But because it's impact based, it is super quick to combo up with one of your operators. So obviously Thermite here in this example is perfect. You get that EMP off and charge down super quick. So yeah, this definitely looks very, very powerful. If you get 2, that is great. If it works like an impact grenade, that is also great. It means this thing is just top notch. And that's the thing. That of course might mean that Thatcher ends up getting made obsolete. But I'm assuming we'll see a few different iterations in the test server. Again, this is going to be over a long period of time, just like the Thatcher rework. So certainly keep subscribed if this ends up on the lab test server for this season. It'll be very interesting to test out these gadgets. Now, we should have a chat about what would happen if you were to bring a secondary hard breach on one operator and your buddy brings a secondary EMP on another, because then suddenly you have the ability to do your own main gadget plus go through a electrified reinforced wall. That is pretty damn good. That is a hell of a combo. Not having to take a dedicated operator for just doing that is something else. Now, of course, in a high rank game, that might not be quite so doable, but yeah, this is definitely going to change up tactics and operator picking. And of course, we have the ability now to change our operators on attack during the preparation phase, which suddenly makes this much more of an interesting kind of mechanic in the future on being able to pick certain operators with certain gadgets and teaming up in different ways that we never used to be able to do. And definitely gives the attackers a lot more variety for sure. But I do have a question for you when it comes to this subject, and that is, are we actually missing a piece of the puzzle here? Because is there going to be an operator this year that will be an anti-EMP operator on defense? Now, assuming we get an attacking operator next season, Season 3 could be another defense operator, and they could be a counter EMP operator to go and make, again, Thatcher more complicated to play, and of course the secondary hard breach a little bit more complicated to play as well. So let me know in the comments below what you think of this proposed Thatcher rework and the potential secondary EMP for attackers. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.